Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to EV Outdoors. Do you tow in the wintertime and you're considering a Sierra EV or a Silverado EV and you kind of want to know how this thing is going to perform in the wintertime towing? Well, I've got a treat for you this time. We're going to do a short towing trip from Mount Airy, Maryland to Thurmont, Maryland here in winter, and it's about 25 degrees outside. So this is going to be a really good test for the towing capability of the Silverado EV in fairly cold temperatures. So it's not going to be a really long tow. It's probably going to be about 30 to 40 miles, but it's 32 degrees out. It got really cold overnight. It was down to like 15, cold for Maryland anyway. And so we're going to really test out the Silverado EV RST's cold towing range. So this is going to be, freezing temperatures and towing a very heavy load. We have my Imagine 2970 RL travel trailer. So it's about 35 feet long, about 8,000 pounds dry, and we're gonna be towing that up to Thurmont. But first, if you're new here, my name is Ken and I make videos about living and adventuring with electric vehicles. If that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and click on subscribe. And when you click on subscribe, hit that bell and you'll get notified anytime we add new content. And remember to hit that like button so others can find us just a little bit easier on YouTube. So those of you who watched my epic towing road trip video, taking this thing to Orlando, Florida, you'll remember that I had a lot of trailer wiring warning lights. So I did put some dielectric grease in there, but it looks like I'm still getting a message to check the wiring. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It may be a software issue with the Silverado EV, because I didn't have it. It's a brand new trailer. We just picked it up in July, and this is December. And I didn't have it before I updated to the new software. So I have a feeling this has something to do with the software update. But we are going to closely monitor the efficiency. This is truly going to be a worst case scenario. My ambient temperature sensor says it's 26 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and I believe it. It got down to about 15 overnight, and the high today is due to be about 33. So this is going to be a good test of the efficiency. Now, the Silverado EV does get parked in a fairly heated garage. I keep it like 55 degrees in there, so it's not heated to normal temperatures, but it's not outside temperature either. So the battery doesn't have to really heat itself up a whole lot when we get on the road. But this will be a good test. The other thing I'm doing differently, normally when I drive this trailer up to Thurmont, I take back roads, but I kind of learned my lesson. This trailer is a little bit longer than our previous trailer. Our previous trailer was 28 feet long. This is about 35 feet long, and the truck is much longer. And the last time I took the back roads back, I actually snagged one of the stabilizers in the back and bent it a little bit. So even though the efficiency is going to be a bit lower, I'm taking less risk in damaging the trailer, negotiating a lot of tight corners and things like that. So I feel better about taking the highway in this case. But I'm going to do what I typically do on the highway. I'm going to keep it between 60 and 65. And in that range, I should get the best combination of travel time and efficiency. Obviously, if you're running low on battery, like I said in my long road trip video, you can slow it down to 55 or 50 in a pinch, and that will extend your range. But I'm going to keep going here. The last mile efficiencies dropped down to 1.5, and I do expect that to go quite a bit lower because it's so cold. Ambient's reading 25 degrees Fahrenheit. So I will continue to update you guys as we go along here, and we're just going to see how this bad boy does in cold weather. Okay, everyone, so I did reset my trip meter, but we also have the current trip that we can go into, and you can see I've gone 8 miles so far, and my average efficiency is 1.1 miles per kilowatt hour, and that's kind of to be expected because it was back roads, stop and go, and it wasn't really high speed. We're really going to get a good idea now that we're out here on the highway. We're also going up to Thurmont. There's some pretty good hills here on I-70 that we're going to go up and down. So this is going to be a pretty good test. It's not going to be a long range test, but it will be a good short range test to see what our efficiency looks like. Also want to note that, and I know I probably shouldn't have done this, but my black tank is about a third full. At least that's what it's reading on the gauge. I did dump some antifreeze down there, some RV antifreeze, but it just I wasn't able to get that emptied when I winterized the trailer. So it is what it is. I may try to find a dump station when I go to pick this up from service just to get it emptied out for the rest of the winter. But to anyone watching with an RV, it's definitely not recommended to leave any water whatsoever in your tanks over the winter because it can freeze. But we're still maintaining our 1.1 mile per kilowatt hour efficiency so far on this trip. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep rolling along, and I'll check back in with you guys when we get further along and closer to our destination. Okay everyone, another quick check-in. So I started out, I had about 70% state of charge. I'm not sure if I established that. But the last mile is reading 0.7 miles per kilowatt hour. And my estimated range right now is reading 105 miles. And believe it or not, this doesn't seem that far off from the efficiency I was seeing back in October on my long road trip. And it's reading 27 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Now, the Silverado EV does have a heat pump, so it doesn't have the resistive heating. So that really helps with efficiency in cold temperatures. The other thing that's probably helping is the fact that I was parked in a semi-heated garage overnight. So I think that did help it. If the truck would have been outside and cold soaked, my efficiency would have been much lower because a lot of energy would have been going to the battery pack and trying to get it up to its optimal temperature. So let me see if I can merge here, and when I do that, we'll take another look at the trip efficiency. So let me go ahead and go into my trip efficiency. So yeah, 0.7 miles per kilowatt hour. About what I would expect in the fall, but I'm seeing it here in a fairly frigid winter temperatures, which is kind of good. I mean, for anyone that thinks they're going to need to be towing in the wintertime with their Silverado or Sierra EV, this is really good news. We have a little bit further to go, so I don't want to give a verdict just yet. But so far, I'm very pleased with the efficiency that we're seeing. All right, everyone, so we're getting ready to pull into Beckley's. We're gonna drop this bad boy off for service. The regen braking works really, really well. Really good at slowing this trailer down. And my last mile efficiency has been reading a steady 0.7 miles per kilowatt hour. So I'm pretty impressed with how this thing is performing in these cold temps. Again, my ambient is reading 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh gosh, service entrance. I missed the service entrance, of course. So, gonna have to try to make a U-turn somewhere. And this is where Beckley's usually has the pull-through winterization. So I'm gonna try to just make a U-turn through here, get back into the service entrance. I was so preoccupied, I completely forgot to turn in. It's right after you pass the 7-Eleven. This guy's got a really nice fifth wheel. But let's go ahead and take a look at our numbers real quick. So the current trip, we've gone just about 34 miles and we've averaged 0.7 miles per kilowatt hour. I was really expecting much lower, folks, due to the really cold temperatures. So I'm pleasantly surprised. Very pleasantly surprised by this. So I think preconditioning is going to be key if you plan to do winter towing. So that's going to be it for this one, folks. It actually went up to 0.8 for the average efficiency, so really no different from our October trip. I'm really impressed with this. What do you guys think about the towing performance here in these winter temperatures? Let us know down in the comments section. Remember to hit that like button so others can find us easier on YouTube. Click on subscribe and then hit that bell so you get notified anytime we add new content. Hug the people you love, and we'll see you next time.